yesterday was Memorial Day. Jon Stewart, somebody we both very much admire for his advocacy, both previously on 9/11 first responders, but now on burn pit victims of our veterans of foreign wars, gave a great speech yesterday at a rally. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Those that took up arms in defense of this country and its Constitution suffered grievous harm in that defense. And when they came home, we put them on trial. You got cancer? Prove it was us. Well, I slept next to a burning field of shit with jet fuel. Yeah, I don't know, but you also, you smoke Camel Light. So how do we know it was us? You shouldn't have to prove it. You shouldn't have to be a defendant in a court case about your own health. When we met 3 years ago, we sat in a room when people could still sit in rooms, windows closed, on each other's laps. And we just said, what would fix this? And we went around the room and everybody said, well, we need presumption for these cancers. We need a process at the VA that doesn't make it so that they're an adversarial insurance company. We need expertise in environmental medicine and toxicology because toxic wounds aren't treated as wounds. It's not treated like an IED that goes off in your body 7 or 8 years later, which is what it is. We said, all right, so that'll fix this. And they said, yeah, but we're not gonna be able to get that. So here's what we were thinking. Maybe we could get priority 6 for like battle veterans. Or maybe we could just get in there with like asthma. Because the system had taught the veterans community to negotiate against itself. Because the system had shown itself to be so unworthy of their sacrifice that it was nearly impossible to even imagine that the thing that they needed would be provided.
Wow. I mean, look, the perfect way to put it and exactly what he's talking about, negotiating against yourselves. Our friends over at Responsible Statecraft have a great piece. Let's put this up there on the screen. Never forget how the landmark burn pit measures couldn't come sooner for a lot of these vets and how 15 years of fighting for this and for the benefit, for the healthcare benefits for toxic exposure, finally coming to an end, at least with the passage of this act and with the endorsement there by President Biden. But why did Jon Stewart and these guys have to fight for years and years? And we saw that, I'll never forget that interview with Dennis McDonough, where he was being interviewed by Stewart. And he's like, I don't care what you think. And he's like, yeah, but I'm speaking on behalf of the vets who you refuse to speak. And he goes, listen, if there was something that I could do. And he goes, no, there is. You can sign this piece of letter. You have the decision to make. He goes, I promise you, Jon, it's not that simple. So apparently it is a little bit more simple than that. But God, I mean, the way these guys have been treated, it's just like the 9/11 thing. It's just shocking. You call them heroes and you treat them like shit whenever they come home.
The military knew as early as 2006 what these burn pits were doing to people. Did they make sure everyone was taking care? No, not even close. It took 15 years to have some modicum of relief for the grievous injuries that these veterans have suffered. And specifically what this, there was a bipartisan agreement in the Senate that will provide sweeping measures to finally give veterans suffering from toxic exposures broad, unrestricted access to healthcare and disability assistance. Specifically what it does, among other things, is more than doubles the number of, quote, presumptions to 23. Those are conditions and illnesses the VA recognizes as service-connected. Up until this agreement, more than 80% of veterans who have tried to get benefits for these illnesses, and we're talking about everything from a rash to terminal cancer, they have been turned away. The other thing I want to say about this is that, it took basically two things. It took Jon Stewart just relentlessly shaming every politician that he possibly could. We talk about never forget on Memorial Day. He truly embodied that. Just, going to the Hill, rallying, talking with survivors, pushing advocacy, direct law, all of that, using his celebrity in one of the most effective ways I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think is also kind of shames other celebrities who pretend to be activists, but it's mostly about their own virtue signaling. Exactly, right? That kind of advocacy Here he had an achievable mission. He shamed politicians. He remained laser focused on it and used his celebrity to actually get it done. The other thing, Saagar, that it took is, I actually didn't connect these dots, but in this piece they talk about, Biden's son, Beau, was exposed to burn pits and he died of brain cancer when he was quite young.
There you go.
And so do we know that it was directly connected? No, but I'm sure
there's no way to know.
I'm sure if you're President Biden, that connection also remains in your mind. So it took Jon Stewart and that entire community of veterans just 15 years of shaming politicians into doing the basics of their moral responsibility to those who served overseas, and having a president who actually lost a son potentially to this very thing to ultimately get this done.
It shouldn't take that,
Not at all. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.